program off with a plea for help. We have several things going on that require your immediate attention. Number one, the Know and Grow program. Tonight is the second night at Highland City. Last night we had 8 families, which is fantastic for a first time, but we only had 4 Rotarians. And I know at least one of those Rotarians cannot make it tonight. So if you have time tonight from 5 to 7, please let me know. We would love to have you. Second, Visti boxes. We will be delivering those again this year. We will have between 75 and 100 of those at next week's meeting. If you normally sign up for 1, I'm going to ask you to sign up for 2. If you normally sign up for 2, I'm going to ask you to sign up for 3. So we need that. And then the third thing was, trying to remember. I don't remember the third thing. But when I do remember it, I will be sure to remind you. All right, and at this time, I'd like to call up Amanda for our Pledge of Allegiance, invocation, and 4-way test. That was 4.
I think he'll get a chance to come to the mic again later, so I'll let him do that then. Please bow your heads with me. Eternal God, you are called by many names: Yahweh, Jehovah, Abba, I am. In this season of abundance and festivities, you bring light to the darkness, hope to the hopeless, comfort to the grieving, mercy to the downtrodden, and justice to the oppressed. Help us to see those needs around us and to be your hands and feet in delivering light, hope, comfort, mercy, and justice that your people deserve. At this time, we particularly lift and commend to your tender care all of those who are grieving the loss of our friend and Rotarian, Bo Jackson. May your peace, which passes all understanding, surround them at this time. Thank you for this Rotary family, for this church and its dedicated workers who feed and serve us so well, and for the food that you have supplied to nourish us this day. We are grateful for all of it and commit ourselves to turning these blessings into action that brings you all credit and honor. Amen. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the 4-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Thank you, Amanda. Number 3, I remember. We need help with the Salvation Army bell ringing. Please sign up in the back, sign up online. And even if you sign up in the back, you still need to go online and sign up so that someone doesn't double up that spot. We have lots of openings next week, so please go check the calendar. And if you're able to pick up a shift or even 2, please do that. And number 4 was Julie Townsend mentioned to me that we're getting some checks for Paul Harris Fellows, which is fantastic news. That's great. The bad news is they're being made out to the Lakeland Rotary Club. Those checks should be made out to the Rotary Foundation. So if you plan on doing that, please make that check payable to the Rotary Foundation. And now we're going to pass the hat. And I believe Beth sent out an email earlier today, and this is for the kitchen staff and for all the help we get with the technology. So if we could pass that around, I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, and while we're passing that, Andrew Trawler is going to introduce our guests and visiting Rotarians.
All right, so today we have one guest, Sean McDonough. McDonough. There you go.
All right, I'm signing up for my bell ring. This is Kathy Case, is the executive officer for the Polk County Builders Association, and our guest is and a prior Rotarian, so maybe a new Rotarian one day.
That's all we have, President.
Oh, that's it. All right. Oh, and is Doug McCall on Zoom? Welcome, Doug. Okay, and if you have any dollars left after passing the hat, we have happy dollars. But I'm not sure. There we
Who's
go.
happy today? Look at these hands. Great. Start right here. Work our way around.
Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am so happy, not just because I'm going to get my red badge today, but also because even though this is my second publication, this will be my first non-academic publication that hit Amazon today. So the name of the book is called Addicted: My Inevitable Road to Recovery. It's a testimonial about how I strengthened my relationship with Christ.
He's happy. That's nice. Thank you. Who else?
I owe for last week because I just want to remind everybody that Michigan and Michigan State both won. It's awesome. But also to my Charles Schwab office is having a grand opening party on Thursday, and I'd like to invite everybody out. Be in our parking lot. There will be, of course, a taco truck and a booze cart. So Thursday, I know, right? Thursday from 4 to 7.
Thank you.
I am so happy. Kimber Wiggs, who got married a year ago, is going to have her wedding reception this weekend.
Oh.
And we are so happy to have people coming from all over the country, and I'm happy everybody's healthy.
Who else? There.
I'm happy because I've been able to give a check for the Rotary Foundation for the year. And I'm very blessed to be able to do that.
Well, going once.
Oh, Michelle over there.
I'm working. I just once on this table here, and everybody's promoting me to. Oh, they're sitting with Joel. No wonder.
Oh.
I'm very happy to share that my son, Tanner, is graduating next week from Belmont University. So we'll be traveling up to Nashville to celebrate with him. Yes, and he's finished in 3.5 years. So my bank account is very happy about that. He's graduating with a degree in audio engineering technology and a minor in music business. And he has started his own music production business, but is still looking for a job in his industry so that he can make some money while he's building his business. But we're excited. I'm very surprised that Carol missed this, but roll tide.
I'd like to thank the gracious hearts at this club for their persistence in getting us new members to put in towards our Paul Harris Fellow. And today I'd like to make my contribution towards my Paul Harris Fellow. And thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Happy dog.
All right. Thank you, Ron. Okay, and I think we have some singing, and we have a special guest today that's going to do some singing. Oh, here we go.
Oh, Santa needs a songbook. Number 60, Jingle Bell. Well, it's on page 60. There it is, number 42. Oh, 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 oh. All of you have been so good this year, except for Julie Townsend. Okay. Here we go. Jingle bells it. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Ho, 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 bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride one-horse open sleigh. That's enough, Ed. Now we sing Santa's favorite song. Old MacDonald had a farm. Old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had some reindeer. E-I-E-I-O. With a and a here, there, everywhere. Old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O.
Thank you, Santa. Okay, now for a few announcements. If Rick Maxey would go ahead and make his way up here. Reminder, next week our Christmas angels are due, so please bring those to the meeting next week. And again, the Visti boxes will be here next week for pickup as well. All right, Mr. Maxey.
Thank you, Mr. President. He told me I had about 15 minutes for this announcement. Want to remind you about next week, December 14th, we will have our Jazzing with Jazz Christmas performance. It will be outstanding. Jazz is an international artist. She's been #1 on the charts. She's had 6 top 5 performances. She plays all over the world. The U.S. Embassy has invited her to countries out to perform, and that she's also performed for our troops. She is truly amazing. You're really going to enjoy it. She's going to do a Christmas program for us to celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, all of our holiday joys. And so please come out next week. It's a good time to invite people that you're considering for membership to see how much fun we have, and so they don't have to listen to us sing. So I hope to see you next week with your guests. It will be a wonderful, wonderful event. And Jazz is from this area. She grew up in Bartow. She taught at Harrison. She has degrees from Tennessee State, from Florida State, and currently working on her PhD at USF. Outstanding performance. Great way to kick off the Christmas holidays. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Okay, it's time to get rid of a couple of red badges. Do we have Cody Cheek? Is he here? And is Richard Wydick here? Did he make it? Well, Richard won't get his. Here you go, Cody. Yep.
Man, I didn't go.
All right, we got rid of 1 red badge. Now it's time to add 3 more. If the following Rotarians, along with their prospects, would come up, I'd appreciate it. Kristen Hatchcock, Kyle Vreeland, and Kyle Cox. Dr. Kristen Hatchcock was born and raised in Winter Haven. She's been with the school board since 2013 with prior experience in corrections and case management. Currently works at West Area Adult School in Lakeland, and hobbies include being a published author, as we just heard, and notary public, realtor, and loves family time and church. Kyle Vreeland is returning. He's a multiple-time Paul Harris Fellow, father of 5 children, graduated with a degree in architecture, although I don't think he's used that in quite some time. Has one of the largest slot collections in Central Florida. Saltwater fishing is one of his hobbies, and studying ancient Egyptian civilization as a passive academic hobby. And last but not least, Kyle Cox. Kyle earned his Eagle Scout in 1999. His Eagle Scout project was done at the Ronald McDonald House in downtown Miami. He is a huge fan of stand-up comedy and tries to see live shows as often as possible. And I tend to agree with this last one. Not only will he never do karaoke, he struggles being present while others do karaoke. I completely relate to that. Okay, Kristen, Kyle, and Kyle. It is my pleasure to welcome you into the Lakeland Rotary Club and back, Kyle. You are joining the oldest service organization in the world, an institution begun in 1905 by Paul Harris and 3 other businessmen in Chicago. Today, Rotarians number 1.2 million members in 34,000 clubs in more than 200 countries. The Lakeland Rotary Club was founded in 1918, the 6th club in Florida. For the past 103 years, this club has served this community and others throughout the world in need, growing to its current membership of nearly 200 members, one of the largest in the state. You are joining a club with a proud tradition and continuing commitment to service above self. We invite you to get to know all of our members through fellowship and service and have a little fun while doing it. You will be provided the opportunity to learn more about our community through weekly programs and serve on various committees dedicated to Rotary's ideals. Whether you prefer local or international service projects, you will have ample opportunities to serve. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our newest Rotarians. Stacy, would you like to come up and introduce today's program?
So I have a karaoke song to sing, and I'm going to see who can name this song. Baby cried the day the circus came to town. Anybody know? Because she, what? Didn't want the race somewhere, just passing by her. So she painted on her face and took off with some clowns. And she danced without a net up on the wire. And Nathan said he didn't like karaoke. So I'll stand until and sing until it's 1:03. I told. Great. Okay, never mind. Well, thanks. Have you ever heard of the Gong Show? Okay, I thought you were too young for that. So it's my pleasure to introduce our speakers, our presenters for member profiles. But before I do that, I'm just going to ask for one request. I'm well aware that I can't sing, so don't go on Facebook and say she made a complete idiot of herself. But I have a request. If you are, please just oblige me, older than 64, would you please stand? And just remain standing for a moment. And no, I'm not going to put this on my naughty Facebook page, as Santa said, but just bear with me. 65 and older. 64 and 64, older than 64. This is beautiful. So let me just say this to you. You are indeed the foundation on which everything is built. And we value you We appreciate you and we recognize you for your wisdom, your contribution, your stick-to-itness, your commitment, and your love for this community. So thank you very much. Okay. So my introduction will be short. We'll start with member profile from Irma Cole.
Hey, Lisa,
That's it,
how are you
because
doing?
you're introducing yourself.
No, it's okay. I'm at home working. I just got home from a trip. So anyway, you got.
So press this one on the right. This one? Or this one? Okay. Okay, I got it. I got the lesson, the IT lesson. So no one's mentioned that it's Pearl Harbor Day. We should acknowledge that, right? So I hate following Stacy. She's such a hard act to follow, especially last week. So everybody had props. So I'm going to have a prop. I'm not going to do a total striptease, but I said to Mark, should I get dressed up or should I wear something Rotary? And he said, wear something Rotary. But it's a T-shirt, and I didn't want to just wear a T-shirt. But it has a message that I really like. It actually has two messages. I'll read it. Two messages, and this is why I joined Rotary. Okay? A lot of you know me because I'm married to Mark, who's been in Rotary for 40-something years. But why did I want to be Rotarian? This is it. Anyway, I move forward. I only have a few minutes, right? So this is how it began. There we go. Those are my parents. That's Erwin and Irene Cole. Both of them were born Cohen. My father's given name was Israel Cohen, and my mother's given name was Irene Cohen. And my father was a newspaperman. He was a writer. He wrote plays and poetry, and he earned a living writing for newspapers. And I think that's probably where I got my love of sports, because he wrote for sports. And sadly, back in those days, this was from the 1930s, while they were dating, those pictures, there was a lot of anti-Semitism. So he changed his name to totally nondescript religiously to Erwin Cole. And that is partly the reason that I have maintained Cole, because I'm the last one with that name in the family. So, sorry, I get a little emotional about this. Whoops, I went the wrong way. Okay, so more pictures of them together. The reason I chose these is because that is the house where I grew up. So my father, unfortunately, had rheumatic fever as a child, and he passed away in his sleep at the age of 36, a month before I was born. So I never knew my father. And my mother had two older children. I have a sister who's 6 years older than me and one that's 10 years older than me. And so she never went back to the house where they lived. And she moved in with my grandmother. So this was my grandmother's house. And I have very fond memories of living there and growing up there with them. And this is where it is. It's Winthrop, Mass, which is a little peninsula just north of Boston. If you've ever taken off out of Logan or landed there, you probably saw that water tower. And the red arrow is sort of where I grew up, right down from the beach. I probably swam before I walked and learned to dig for clams. And I loved that smell of the salt air. And I would have been happy to move to the coast here, but I married an insurance guy and he had to live inland. So, yeah, you all get that. So here, an old picture of my mother, my two sisters and I. I'm the little one, yeah. And then this other picture is from about 10 years ago. My sister Roberta lives in California. She's the one I got to see last week. After 3 years. And my other sister, Wendy, lives in New Jersey. This is going to be everybody's all over the country kind of thing. They each have 2 kids, and we have a bunch of great I have great nieces and nephews. So the top left is my niece, Laura Sue, who presently lives in Michigan and will be moving to San Antonio at the end of January. And then my niece, Eileen, who lives in Portland, Oregon, and that's her son, Josh, who's a sophomore at the University of Minnesota. He's studying journalism. So I like to think maybe it's true, maybe it isn't, that there's some genes there from my father. I don't know. But He's also a great musician. He writes and gets paid right now writing about hockey on some online sites. Anyway, those are Roberta's kids. And then the next two little ones are Emily and Eric, and they live in New Jersey, and they belong to my niece Leslie, who's in the bottom left. And then there's my nephew Jeff, who actually lives in Delray Beach. So I do have one relative in Florida. And he has two daughters, Addison and Taylor, who are now, I think, 11 and 13. So they're growing up. They like to, Addison plays soccer, and Taylor is a singer. She goes to one of those special schools. So moving right along. Then I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Jeff's kids, who are a big part of our family. Mark's kids, sorry. That's Jeff and his wife, Sarah. They have three daughters together, Allison, Olivia, and Isabella, and they live now in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. Allison is now 16, Olivia is 14, I think, and Isabella is 12, yeah. Then we have Mark's other son, Aaron, who is a vice president for Dollar Tree, and they live in Virginia Beach. And that's his wife, Lauren, and they have two boys, Henry, who is 12, and Oliver, who's 11. And we're looking forward to them coming to visit in a few weeks. So I mentioned my mother before, my grandmother, that's both of them. I think you probably can see a little family resemblance. That's what I've been told. I don't know. I miss my grandmother and my mother a lot. That's the last picture I got to take of my mother in November of 2010, and she passed at the age of 95 in the following January. Sadly, she did not get to attend our wedding, but she had seen my dress and she got to sign a ketubah, which is the Jewish marriage certificate. So we have that, and they were a big influence on my life, both of them, and I miss them. Yeah. So you probably, none of you would have known that I was a majorette in high school. So this is the Discover Irma part. I really liked it. So the white uniform was my junior year. The senior year I was captain, so I had the blue uniform. I still have my baton, but much to Mark's dismay, I no longer have the boots. For some reason, he's enamored with the boots. He wasn't supposed to be here today. He was supposed to be somewhere else. So now I've embarrassed him, but oh well. But I then went on to Boston University. And for those of you that are over the age of 60 will remember that in May of 1970, there was a lot of unrest in our country, shall we say. And there were protests when President Nixon sent the troops into Cambodia, and there were a lot of riots, and there were a lot of cancellations of graduations, and colleges closed early and sent everybody home, and BU was one of those. So we did not have a graduation. So 40 years later, they invited my class back, and it was amazing, and it was really good. And I know a lot of kids don't care about going to graduation. I cared. So I worked hard for that thing. So this was a picture Mark took from the stand. So it's a little blurry, but you can see the people sitting right in front. They put our class right in front. And the speaker that day was Attorney General Eric Holder, and he acknowledged us as one of his people. So I guess he was from the class of 72. And it was a great day. It was a great experience. And I'm glad I have that in my memory bank. After college, I did an awful lot of different kinds of things. I did graduate with a degree in education. And for a few years, I was a learning disabilities tutor in the public schools. And as a lot of you will know, that burnt me totally out. So I then did a bunch of other things until finally, in the 1990s, I found my passion. And I have been an antique dealer since the early 1990s. I've been in business by myself, so my whole motto was, if I can't lift it, I don't buy it. So don't ask me about furniture, because I don't know a thing about furniture. If it's china or glassware or ephemera or any kind of collectible, I'm your girl. I can help you. So that's an older picture. I used to do a lot of shows. This was BM, before Mark, and I didn't really have a life. So I did a lot of shows, and now I primarily sell online in a couple of sites, eBay, of course, Facebook Marketplace, and a site called Ruby Lane. And I'm set up at the Lakeland Antique Mall also. So what do I collect? So you've all heard of Wedgwood. You all think of Wedgwood as blue. Well, guess what? It also comes in a variety of other colors, and this is one that I love, and it's lilac Wedgwood. It was only made in the 1800s, the 1960s, and the 1980s. And I could probably do a whole hour about Wedgwood, but I'll just move along. But anyway, my other passion, you all know, is the Boston Red Sox. And God bless Mark, he's gone along with the ride. On our first date, we were at the beach, and I said, you know, there's a game on, and he let me listen to it on the radio. So I knew I was okay. Yeah. So in June of 2008, I was selected as a card-carrying member of the Red Sox Nation to throw out a first pitch at Fenway Park. It was New Hampshire Day, and I was living in New Hampshire at the time. And so I was chosen, and sadly, you can see that white tarp on the ground. It started to rain just as I was ready to go to the mound. And yeah, I know, that was the bad part. I know, really, right? So I said, well, we'll just wait for the rain delay to be over, right? And they went, no, sorry, we have to start the game like right away when rain delay is over. So I said, well, do I get a do-over? No, no do-over. So I threw it on the sideline. But I want you to know, because you've all seen other people throw errant pitches, mine went in. It was a sinker, but mine went in. Yeah. So the other funny part of that whole story is that they spelt my name wrong. 4 first letter, 4 last name, right? What can you do? They spelt my last name Cola, C-O-L-A, instead of Cole. So the ball that I threw is the one that spelled wrong. They felt badly and brought me another ball during the game with my name spelled right. So I have 2 balls from that day. Yeah. And they brought me the 8x10 glossy, which was really kind of neat. So that was exciting. God bless Mark, he let me have a Red Sox themed wedding. So this is from our wedding. That's our rabbi from Chelmsford, Massachusetts. And she even wore a red and white yarmulke, and everybody wore Red Sox shirts. Those are my 2 brothers-in-law and Mark's 2 sons, one you can't quite see, holding up our canopy. And it was in June. It doesn't look warm, and it wasn't. It was a cold, rainy day. I had spent months worrying about, we're going to need fans because it's going to be too hot, and I didn't need to worry about it. But everybody got into it. Our band, without my even asking, wore Red Sox shirts. We arrived by boat. You can sort of see that we're on a river there. And the gal driving the boat wore a Red Sox shirt. I never asked her to. The kids all wore Red Sox shirts and sweatshirts, and I had Red Sox games and toys and whatever for them. So it was a fun day. I could do a whole hour on this too. But anyway, I want you to see the cake, because the cake was amazing. That baseball is made out of fondant, and this cake in there, and we actually ate the whole thing. Yeah. And Mark loved going for the cake testing. He ate every morsel and was on a sugar high for 3 days. Thank you. Thank you. When we moved here, because I love baseball, I said, oh, we should work at baseball fields, right? So we worked at Tiger Town for about 7 years. We hardly ever got to see any games, though, because we were doing customer service, and I was doing payroll, and we worked concessions, and we did everything that happened during the game. So we really didn't. We worked, those are the shorts for Flying Tigers. We worked in the summer as well as spring training, but it was a lot of fun. When we decided to move to Florida, Mark drove down to put his RV up for consignment, and we had made up a laundry list of things we wanted in a place. And so he got to Lakeland, and he found you guys, and he found the synagogue, and he drove around and saw some of the houses, and he called me and he said, you should get on a plane and fly down here. This was in 2007, February. And by the end of the week, we had bought that house. So we love our house, and we love Lakeland, and we love being part of Rotary and this community. And we haven't looked back. So we've loved participating. There's a couple of pictures from the year of the 100th. And Mark and I are a little thinner now, thanks to the pandemic. I lost 67 pounds. Mark lost 25. Now we're going to try and keep it off. But mostly we have a lot of fun. And I've jumped in here, and I've enjoyed being part of our STARS project at the Boys and Girls Club. and some of the other things that we've done here. The Veterans Park thing and trivia and what else have I done? I'm doing those district announcements that are on your table every week. I've been doing those, and that's pretty much it. Thanks.
Okay, now we have Anna Gillespie.
Good afternoon. So I didn't make pronounce, so I will be reading from here. But I'm Anna Gillespie, and I do apologize. I haven't been here in a long time, so it's good to see all your faces. So the beginning is that I was born in Cali, Colombia, and my parents moved us here when I was about 3 years old. My dad got a position at Lakeland Regional, and we literally lived on Memorial in an apartment for a few years until we found a house off of Cleveland Heights and lived in Fairlington most of my childhood. That is my mom and dad with my brother and I. And forward. Okay, so we did a lot as far as a family. We were always together. This is us in Tennessee. My parents never knew bears in Columbia, and they thought it was super cool that there was a bear on the side of the road and pulled over. And I am face to face with the bear. So it's kind of amazing I'm alive. But we have pictures to prove it, and she made me wear my headgear out in public. So I don't know if you can see the headgear, but that's on there too. I know. So I don't know if some of you have met my husband. He is Andrew Gillespie. He is an engineer by trade. He is 100% nonstop and fun to live with and exhausting to live with. But he's always got an idea in his mind, and they're always, not always great ideas, but often great ideas. And like we're in the middle of a move right now, and we are trying to unpack and get everything done. And instead of unpacking what we have and going methodically and slowly, he keeps bringing more stuff in. So anyway, I'm exhausted, but we will hopefully get that settled and done soon here too. Oh, and he's from Northern Ireland, so neither of us were born here, which is kind of neat. And that's what's so amazing about this country is we were able to build a life together here. His whole family's in Ireland. He went to high school and college in Ireland and ended up in Lakeland, Florida, which I find amazing, mainly because he got a job through an Irish company called Power Screen that brought him over to do engineering work. And every weekend found himself in Miami because he didn't want to be in Ireland or in Lakeland at first. And I guess, as he puts it, was on a search for a Latina, and I was here. So anyway, and this is a family we have. So we have my two daughters are actually from a previous marriage. I was married very briefly. I was divorced when the girls were 2 and 1, and he has literally scooped him up and brought him up as his own. So he is a wonderful father, and that's our son, Liam, to the left, and that's all of us at the Hoover Dam. So this is my eldest, Adriana. She's 24 years old and just got engaged about a month ago. So we are in the middle of planning a wedding here soon, and we'll be gaining a new son, Tyler, who is wonderful. They live in Jacksonville. She works for Southeastern Grocers. Sorry, Publix people. But she loves her job and graduated from UNF. Julia is 23 years old. She's a Seminole and graduated with her with her accounting degree and just got her master's and works for RSM in Jacksonville also. So the girls live together in Jacksonville. Liam is our 14-year-old and goes to LCS, and he is in 8th grade and plays soccer for the middle school team there. And I always joke that God is laughing at me because he gave me the 2 girls first. And I thought, oh, this isn't so hard. And, and he's wonderful, but he's like a whole nother animal that I'm still trying to figure out. And Luna is our dog, and she's a mini Aussie Doodle, and she's awesome. So she's a big part of our family. And I know it's not the same as the bear incident, but we too like push our kids to take challenges and do things. And we thought it'd be cool to go on a roller coaster when Liam was a little too little. And the picture says everything. He still won't go on a roller coaster. So, and a little bit more about myself. I am, like I said, from Lakeland, and I graduated from Santa Fe Catholic High School. Then I went to USF in Tampa. I did spend 1 year at Alabama, so Roll Tide as well. Had a little too much fun there, so my dad brought me back to Florida. And I began my career, I was a marketing major, and I started the St. Pete Times in the Tampa office. So that was a fun sell, to sell advertising with the Tampa Tribune there. But it really taught me to sell in a difficult environment. So soon after, I was a pharmaceutical rep for 10 years and then became a stay-at-home mom until Adriana was a senior in high school, and I decided, wouldn't it be cool to open an escape room? So we had gone to spring break in March of that year of 2016, done an escape room for the first time in our lives. And by the time we came home that summer, over the summer, did another escape room. I don't know, I just got a bug in my head and decided that it'd be a good idea to try something different. And with my husband being an engineer, and I love puzzles and games and have that creative side, we thought we could do this, and opened 3 months later in downtown Lakeland. So we're coming up on 5 years, December 15th, and it's been an amazing adventure, a lot of work, but we love it. We are a privately owned company. We are not a franchise, so we create all of our escape rooms from the beginning to end, from the puzzles to the storyline. My husband builds what comes out of my brain somehow. And over the pandemic, for example, the MapQuest challenges was a scavenger hunt that we did in Lakeland. And it's mostly about learning the history of Lakeland, and it's a super cool thing if you haven't done it. And that was just something truly to bring some income in during the months that we were closed. And it was a great idea. And we've really loved that. I was part of the greatest class ever, class 36. So that was an awesome experience, and we got it just in the nick of time before COVID hit, so we were able to get a full experience and made some great relationships out of that. This year in April, our business did win the Small Business of the Month award, and we were very excited. And I look forward to get to know a lot of you a little better, and that's it.
Irma and Anna, thank you guys so much for sharing a little bit of your story. Mark, we already knew it, but man, you've got your hands full with this one. And I hope you find those boots. And Anna, we're just glad you're here. Like, seriously, we're glad you're alive and here, and Liam also. So thank you both for sharing a little bit of your story. Okay, next week's program is the Christmas concert. You've already heard about that. And I'd like to thank our guest, Kathy. And if Mike Stasiak is here, I'd like to call him up. A little something to share with you, Mike. Sometimes you don't realize what you've got until it's taken away from you. And when we lost this place for so many months, we truly miss it, and we value you guys, and thank you so much for all that you do. So share this with your staff or me and enjoy. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So my wife told me the other day that she did not understand cloning. And so I replied, that makes two of us. We are adjourned.